Hey everyone, welcome to another awesome episode. I've got Sean McDonnell on the show, founder and CEO of Fire Videos. Me and Sean, we met online, I think 1 month ago or 2 months ago. We actually wanted to do this for a while. It was actually, I was super busy, so I had to reschedule it again. But I'm super excited to have Sean on the show. Sean, thanks for being on the show, man, and taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So you see, Sean is in Costa Rica. That's why he has that shirt going on. He has his hair looks really good. He has a good tan on him. He surfs every day. How is Costa Rica? Let's start with that.
It's the Pura Vida lifestyle. It's very good. It's sunny. It's healthy. It's great. I'm like in a treehouse in the jungle right now.
Amazing. So you're literally staying in like a treehouse sort of place?
It has air conditioning, but it's kind of like this isolated off-grid treehouse, but it has fast internet connection and air conditioning, which is all I really need.
Amazing. And we talked a little bit about your surfing habits. How does surfing interact with entrepreneurship and running a business? How do you kind of...
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it's a great way to start the day. It gets me up early. Like I'll wake up sometimes at 5 a.m., 5:30 to just like get up and go exercise for an hour or two in the morning. And as it relates to the business of videos, actually, video is like huge with surfing. Like surfers are like very obsessed with themselves, and it's a very selfish sport, really. And like there's a whole business around like video analysis and watching how you move in the water with the board and what you're doing with your hands and your arms and your feet and where you are in the wave. And so it's been cool to work with video people on the beach, or like drone pilots or people in the water, getting all these different kinds of shots. And so it's been pretty cool to see this whole world of like surfing photography and video.
Amazing. And for the audience, like I haven't mentioned it at the start, but it's just for some context. Sean McDonnell is you Fire Videos and you leading it. You guys are the masterminds behind some of the biggest names out there right now that are really kind of dominating the scene. Can I give out some names, or do you kind of...
Sure, yeah.
So my friend and Sean's friend, Ryan Breslow, is working with Fire Videos. If you guys look at Ryan's new Instagram page, and if you look at kind of like he has a new YouTube channel I saw also, so he's been playing with video. And Sean has been doing a wonderful job with him. Sahil Bloom's another one who's been kind of dominating, and Sean has been helping him out. There's another few big names that I'm not remembering at the moment, but that Sean is working with, and you guys are doing a really amazing job. To be more specific, you guys are like really dominating this intersection between long form and short form, and kind of finding this, you guys are really jumping on this trend when you've got YouTube Shorts, you've got TikTok, you've got Instagram Reels, and there's like this specific type of videos that work on those platforms. And I really feel like you guys are kind of nailing strategies on those type of videos. What's your take on that? Like, what do you think? First of all, do you agree with me that this is sort of something that you guys have been placing a big focus on? And my second question here is, what do you think separates that specific tone of short form video compared to long form discussions and such?
Yeah, well, I think that obviously the attention span of people online is very short, and it's hard for people to sit through a 3-hour podcast episode of Joe Rogan. But if they see a 1-minute clip, they're more willing to just sit through that, and they know it's probably going to be good if it's a short clip on TikTok or Reels or whatever. And yeah, I think that it's become such a popular form of media to shoot something long form, and then almost by happenstance, you will produce some of this short form content that is doing really well. But my take on the short form content that I think is being overlooked is the scripted short form content. And a lot of people are just repurposing the shorts from their long form. And I've seen mixed results from that. Sometimes you get lucky and something really resonates and takes off, or with the help of some really cool animation, it can really, you know, get viral. But I think there's a guy who is crushing it on YouTube Shorts right now. I'm blanking on his name, Henry Bellcaster. And
Who's this guy?
he's doing shorts on YouTube Shorts, and I think he's probably the fastest growing creator on YouTube Shorts, and he does scripted shorts. So he'll put together scripted content that's roughly like 400 or 500 words. It's typically a story that has some sort of interesting fact about it. He likes to drop in like dates from the past, and really he's just done an incredible job of using a green screen, telling a short story in a minute. And his videos are, those guys have really like done an excellent job of figuring out what goes viral in the shorts world. And I think for like $50,000 a month, you can pay them to make shorts for you.
So, you were talking about attention span, and, people, I agree with you, they're saying, people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter. Are we, like, I'm kind of scared, because if it's people are only able to see like 1-minute videos nowadays, do you think like in 10 years, people are going to have like the attention span to see only like, I don't know, like 10-second videos? Do you think that's where it's going?
Yeah, well, there already are, like, we've priced out, done projects where there was 8-second videos. Those are more like ads. And those were ads that were specific to Snapchat. Actually, we did some work for Kraft, so Philadelphia cream cheese, and like Velveeta. I think we made these like really short 8-second ads in combination with Cameo too. So I think yeah, attention span is getting shorter and shorter, and maybe it'll get so short that it'll be like half-second subliminal messages that you don't even know you're watching. I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy. That's really crazy to think of. When you work alongside some of those leading entrepreneurs that we mentioned previously, you get to work them day in and day out, and kind of, see what they're thinking about, what they're thinking is like the next big thing in terms of media. What are some of the ideas, or kind of like the impressions that you get from them in terms of what's like the next big thing? Like, what are they talking about? With you, what are you guys kind of, talking about?
Well, I think that I think YouTube is still like top of the chart of where everyone wants to be. I think they've just figured out the monetization the best, and except for the shorts, for some reason, like YouTube Shorts like doesn't pay. Like this guy Henry Bellcaster, for being so successful on the platform, the shorts platform, it's like it doesn't pay. But if it's the long form that pays, but it all kind of depends on like what the creator's goals are. So if it's like just mass exposure, the shorts are probably is the easiest way to get there. But then if you're like trying to build a career and like really look at, revenue from your videos, the longer form is definitely the way to go.
We talked about Ryan, for example. So, Ryan is he has businesses that he manages, right? And he does like his creative projects are kind of like something he does on the side, kind of, right? What do you think his goals are with what he's doing?
Well, he's got Love, Eco, and Bolt, and some other stuff that he's working on. So I think he's trying to really just focus on making those businesses as successful as possible. And he's also got kind of this mission of helping people, like younger generation of entrepreneurs, build companies in a conscious, thoughtful way that's really leading with, as cheesy as that sounds, like leading with love, or like leading from like a place of compassion and kindness, but also like aggressive and hardworking. So yeah, he's like an incredible entrepreneur to work with and watch. I've learned a lot from working with him, and I think, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
where I think
And,
he's going.
and in terms of like the creativity aspect, in terms of the personal brand that he's building, like with you, with the videos, with everything, is that just to build out this platform and his personal brand, so his other projects can kind of benefit from that? Is that
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think the personal brand is a great way to just get more eyes on the stuff that he's working on.
awesome? And let's talk a little bit about you. You have a very interesting story, right? You haven't been like a video guy throughout your whole career. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your journey and how you got to Fire Videos?
Sure. So yeah, I have a background really in sales. That's kind of how I grew up, in an entrepreneurial family. My dad is an entrepreneur, and um, he always pushed me to kind of go out and like be a hustler and go get stuff done. And so I had some work at like some tech software sales right out of college. Like I worked at Groupon in Chicago, and a couple other companies, and then I was moonlighting as a snowboard instructor while I was on vacation visiting my brother in Colorado. I met a couple guys from South Beach, and they became my clients. I they were my one and only client. But then after a few years of them flying me from Chicago to Colorado, they offered me a job in a family office in South Beach. I moved there, got into real estate, started working for auction.com, doing some helping with the sales team there. And then I went to a coding boot camp, learned to code, and was doing AWS solutions architecture work, and back into software sales. Kind of just, it all kind of was, I was like trying to get away from sales, and then I got back into it. And then I kind of fell into the video business about a year and a half ago. I was Atomic Ventures was picking up steam in Miami, and I was really intrigued by Jack Abraham, the founder there. And I was experimenting with kind of working with animation to try to like get his attention. And I made this like really cool video where he was on Anthony Pompliano's podcast, and I started to share that video with entrepreneurs, and I said, "Do you know anyone that would be interested in these kinds of videos?" And I had met Ryan at a book launch, or no, we met at a Miami Hack Week party. And then like later on, he had a book launch for his fundraising book, and I asked him, "Hey, do you know anyone that would be interested in these kinds of videos?" And he was like, "Me, I want these videos. I want a lot of these videos." And so He was like kind of our first client to really get the business off the ground. And then from there, other people were like, hey, can you make me videos like Ryan? And yeah, just kind of took on a life of its own after that.
Amazing. And dude, you're like, you've been doing so many things, like jumping from one thing to another. Would you like consider yourself like a polymath, like someone who, you know, has a very diverse interests?
I heard somewhere that like, if you refer to yourself as a polymath, you're not a polymath. But if someone else calls you that, then I mean that's definitely a flattering thing to hear. I don't know if it's that or if it's just the shiny ball syndrome of like wanting to just jump on the next cool thing. I don't know, maybe a little bit of both.
Awesome. Really, who did you hear that said that in terms of like the polymath?
I think it was on the My First Million podcast, like
Mm.
Sean Puri, Sam Parr, one of them, I think said that. And I thought it was funny because I have a friend who has polymath in his Twitter bio, and I've been waiting to give him a hard time about that.
That's funny. Okay, so I gave you that compliment. I think, man, someone who does that has so many kind of skills is considered a polymath. So there you go. How do you like cultivate and manage your day to day? Like, do you have any like how do you what's your time management? How does it look like?
Yeah, so day to day, I try to keep as clear of a schedule as possible. I try to put any important calls or work as early in the day as possible. Um, like after I exercise, I feel like I have to do that early in the morning as well. Otherwise, I just like won't do it. Um, and yeah, and then in the afternoon, it's like, after my brain fuel is started to deplete, it's like a little bit easier tasks, maybe calls with vendors or I don't know, stuff that's just not going to be as intense. I try to do in the later on in the day. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the general theme of how I organize the day.
Is there any apps or like that you currently use? Any calendar
Yeah,
apps or
well,
to-do list apps?
I've been using the Google Tasks app a lot recently in the last like month. I never really used it before. I was always like using scheduling reminders as events, and what the tasks thing has been just, I don't know. I feel like really good because it's
Mm.
like uh it helps me keep track of like important emails and stuff as well. Um I love Calendly. I feel like I can't, you know, live without it as someone who's trying to do sales stuff. Um, I I don't like Slack, but I've been using it more for certain clients. They really prefer Slack, so been using that, been getting good at using that. I use Skype a lot to communicate with teams offshore. I use WhatsApp a lot. Um, and I mean, I have so many apps on my phone, probably too many. Uh, but yeah, those are Google Tasks. I mean, I who knew it was actually a good app.
Awesome. What about it? Do you have an iPad?
I don't
You
know.
don't. So you do all the editing, all the video stuff. Do you do on the laptop? That's kind of
I actually don't do any video editing. It's
yeah.
all I have a team of about 15 editors and animators now, and yeah, I just manage the projects and um Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you delegate that sort
I
of
have
thing.
done video editing. Actually in college, I was on this study abroad program called Semester at Sea, and there was I took a video production class, and I was a video editor, and for like a weekly or daily, weekly, I think, TV show. And so I had to like edit videos for that. That's kind of, and then also just a lot of video editing of like snowboarding videos and surfing stuff, or what with GoPros. That's kind of where I was like realized um how much I don't like to do video editing and how big of a pain it is. Um so yeah, I don't really like to do the video editing.
And it's funny that you have like a video company, you don't like the actual, video editing, but you're a sales guy. So you like sales and bringing on clients and managing that.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know, like, does your team have like any specific laptop brand that they use that it maybe it's easier for them to edit through that? Just trying to,
That's a good question. I don't know about any of the hardware stuff. I should know that, but I know everybody's using Windows. No one's using Macs, and we do almost all of our video editing in Adobe Premiere Pro.
Mhm.
That seems to work the best with clients. Occasionally, we'll have a client that's like using Final Cut. But Adobe Premiere Pro seems to be like what's been the
The
most popular.
go-to.
Yeah.
Awesome. In terms of like favorite books or anything that really kind of inspired you throughout your journey, is there any specific book or several books that you think are worth sharing?
Um, my favorite book, I think, is David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me. I'm like starting to read his second book right now, and it's just, I mean, that's the most inspiring guy. I feel like his story is just gets me pumped up. It's I don't know. Are you familiar with him at all?
With Goggins, of course.
Yeah. I mean, the
Who
guy's just
doesn't?
the guy. I mean, there you'd be surprised. I'll ask people, if they've heard of him, and when they don't, I'm like, oh man, get ready. Like, spend some time on YouTube and watch this guy, and try, like, especially my friends that were running the marathon just happened in Miami, and I have a bunch of friends that just did the half
Mm.
marathon, and I, for some reason, it's just like, it's like, why do the half? Like, just do the whole thing. And I'm like telling them, like, you guys need to just listen to David Goggins and finish the whole thing. It'll get you through. It'll help motivate you in the tough times when you feel like you can't do anymore. At least that's how I felt a lot of times in this business, where especially last year in the summertime, when the market was tanking, a lot of my clients were just like, we're done with this. We can't afford it. Like, we're going to have to start laying people off. So it hasn't been like slow and steady up and to the right. It's been like a lot of ups and downs. And fortunately, I've kind of like been able to position the brand as a company that will replace like 4 or 5 people with the price of one.
I hear you. If you had to give, my kind of last question for you today, and you've been super amazing with the time. My final question for you today is, if you had to give one tip, one single tip for entrepreneurs out there, something that you think every entrepreneur needs to know, what would be that tip?
Um, I think that The tip I would give is, oh man, I want to say a couple different things. One,
Go for it. It doesn't have to be one. Go for it.
drink water, a lot of it. Stay hydrated. You know, I think that also staying healthy is like so important. So like prioritizing sleep and your health is gonna, I think, just be have a direct impact on your business. But I also feel like that with anything great, it just requires eating shit in the beginning. Like it's just gonna be hard. And there's no, I feel like like I've tried so many times to just like find a shortcut. And it's like with surfing, I feel like it's the hardest sport I've ever done. I've played like so many sports growing up, like everything you name it, but this one required so much humbling of like, you got the elements, you got Mother Nature, you got the waves, the current, the tide, the, you know, the animals in the water, like, you know, and then you got other people that you got to be aware of. And then you have like your own physical fitness you need to have in check. You need to know like where you need to be. And it just takes a lot, like it just takes hours and hours and hours and hours of practicing the craft to get where you want to go.
Amazing, man. Amazing. Sean, thank you so much for doing this show. If people want to follow you, where can they find you?
Firevideos.io or on Twitter at Sean F. McDonnell. Yeah, Sean at firevideos.io is my email.
Awesome. Awesome, brother. Thank you so much for doing this. Have an awesome time. Enjoy Costa Rica.
All right. Thanks.